just
exactly what it is.
centered up better. There we go.
Stacking, oil stacks at the back of the engine and out the front. Um, so the counterweights, the bottom end of the motor is got to fight through more oil, when it's oil, and that adds the weight, it offsets the added weight of the piston. But like I said, I
Better.
remember that from years ago. You know who was big on that? I was partners with a guy named Bobby Lagana.
Turn this up a little bit.
And he was big on that. We never, so when we were one.
I love watching this show on Wednesday night.
And, we'd spend our nights and, everybody at the races, everybody be going home and going to motel and shit like that. And we'd be in the pits until like 4 o'clock in the morning, filing ring lands and doing all this other shit. And there were many times we had like 7 different pistons in an engine, right? And he was big on that. He was big on like, he'd make a balance and see which piston was heavier, and then that one would go to the back of the motor. But I've never actually seen that have any sort of like tangible like result or value.
Somebody put on there, and I can't find it now. It must have been, maybe this message retracted, but it was funny. It said when I rebuilt my 383, I put TRW forged pistons in it and got the stock bobbly with the factory, or against the factory numbers.
Sorry,
right?
playing with stuff.
TRWs are supposed to be the heaviest, right? Like everybody was saying, don't run those heavy ass pistons. And they balanced up factory bobbly, right? Because that's how heavy the factory cast stuff is.
Oh, yeah, there is. Okay. Does Dallas have an offering to the gods of speed for show and tell? He loves carnage, but
No. I did for a while, and I think I maybe pitched all that stuff. I had a piston that was just, what was funny is, like, if you've never seen what happens to a forged piston versus a cast piston, a forged piston will absolutely, like, bend and fold, right? Cast piston will just break into a billion pieces, right? Same as Hypertech. I had a forged piston that had, the skirt was caved in on one side, and it got cocked in the motor, and it was a 302 Ford. And I spun the crap out of that thing, and I was hitting it with a 125 off the 60 foot.
Right.
And then once you got past the 60 foot, you hit it with another 125, and it split the block, right? Well, it had cocked that piston in there so hard, it bent the whole skirt under. It was pretty cool looking. It was hard to get out, too.
Eric Green was hey Tony, any experience with the DP4B intake? Love direct connection stuff, any info for? I believe that manifold is just a regular. It's like an aluminum replica of the factory dual plate manifold. I don't think there's anything special to that. Let's see.
I like Memphis Pistons.
Let's see. Are there any pistons, any brand that can't be rotated to the top face of the piston and valve due to the top of the face of the piston and valve clearance? You're talking about with an offset pin to take advantage of the pin location, turn around. You can do it with any flat top piston. You can do it with anything that has valve release matches.
That's the best Holland piston used for rebuild and or racing.
Whichever one I get a good deal on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to, if you're going to be using it for racing, like real racing and not lemons, the ideal thing is to go with a forged piston. But I've used Hypertech for years. I've actually used cast pistons and Buicks because they were so hard to get forged pistons.
I have Hypertech piston my 340, my 73 Road Guard. But what is pistons?
I've always ran Hypertech pistons. I can't afford them forged pistons.
When you get that the box and you open it up, it says these are not standard clearance.
Right.
Like you want it tight.
Explain. This is Rev Randall. Explain the advantage of indexing plugs and who still does.
I bet NASCAR is the only place that probably index plug anymore.
I played with indexing plugs on some. Okay. The only engine I know of that it actually makes a difference is in the Hemi, and only in high liquid applications. Okay. So in other words, alcohol or nitro. And with nitro, it would be a good thing. And the whole idea is to shroud the center electrode from liquid, right, to keep it from getting wet and cold. So you put the ground strap in such a way, you position the ground strap in such a way that the colder part of the mixture, the wetter part of the mixture, is not hitting the plug. You know, in other applications, where it's not, where the plug isn't centralized, I don't think there's really any value to it.
I've done them.
Trying to lock the screen so it quits jumping
Side
around.
gapping does make a difference. Side gapping definitely makes a difference.
Hey, Google sucks, and you're asking, is there any other better Buick 350 heads? Actually, there is. The 73 and later heads have a 155 exhaust valve on them. And the 73 heads won't have any interjection stuff on them. The later heads, you'll have to drill in the plug, or you'll have to just probably tap in the plug.
Oh, GMZ06, thanks for your patience. Scrutinizing my neighbor's 71 Demon 340, one of 34,000. That's a lot of bread. Bullshit. Turns out they had a rusted trunk and rocker panels behind this 25-year-old Mako paint job. You see, I'm like, well, I'm glad. We're good for something, right?
There's a lot of people that pass stuff off as good all the time. And as long as you know where to look, that's the key thing.
Let's see. What's the best coil from Mopars? Since they lay sideways, love the show. I mean, every coil I can think of is okay to mount sideways. You don't ever want to mount them upside down.
This is all Mopars. You know, the ones I've always seen that almost every car responds to is like an Excel Super Coil.
I use them on everything.
Oh, yeah. Those are great coils.
Do you really? I got a stench of them too. I love most of them things.
They're great.
You know, people look at them, they point and they snicker. You know,
Yeah,
like,
oh, Excel Super Coil. All right,
Super coil.
I picked up
my super
15
coil.
horse and got some better miles on gallon on that stuff. Oh, MSD coil. Well, if you look at the instructions on an MSD coil, most of them say don't use on the street.
Yeah.
Blaster too. I've used, you know, I have an MSD blaster on my 273, on my 67 GT. It's a good coil, but maybe I should back. What are you gonna do? Maybe a back-to-back coil shootout. Which one of them is going to photo?
You know what? We could actually do that right here on the bench because you just spin the distributor. So what kind of mark it.
Yeah.
And then we just keep setting the gap farther and
Well,
farther.
we set it up with a drill. You spin it. I've actually done a couple of
I
videos.
love it. Man, you might got an old Sun Machine.
Man, I used to work on one of those things.
From the Sun 6 in the LA small block. Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
It's a good coil.
Give me my big yellow coil.
Excel Super Coils are great, but ugly as hell.
Oh, no, don't say that.
They're big, but they definitely work well.
No, I love the way they look. Mopar Man 78. I've seen Mopar canister coils on this side for years, but was told if it lays PN on side, the oil inside doesn't keep the innards covered and can burn it up. Bro, I have never once in 40-something years of doing this, I have never once taken into consideration the position of the coil.
Well, it's not upside down. Like you said, the thing is, those are filled with oil.
Yeah.
And the oil is what keeps them cool.
Well, it's not just that, there's an air gap in there. So when you lay it upside down, facing down, the part of the coil that there's an air gap at the bottom is exposed, and that's what burns up the coil. They overheat, and then it pushes the oil out and it leaks.
Oh, I thought it was cool. I thought when you turn them upside down, they can leak that way. But either way, it doesn't matter. I was always told the same, never turn them upside down. But you can lay them on the side, you can turn them straight up.
When you put them upside down, okay, the oil is at, so right side up, or on its side, it's like a 3/4 fill. All right. When you put it upside down, the top part of what would normally be the bottom part of the coil, the top part is like completely exposed, and it gets hot.
Yeah,
And there's
it'll
more
overheat.
wire up there,
Right.
right?
And when that gets hot, it pushes the oil out of the seal in the
Well, I can see that, yeah, because it starts essentially overheat the oil,
Right.
and then it's got no place to expand.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Petronics. No, I'm not a big keen fan of the Petronics. I'll tell you why. They're all made in China. So-
Yeah, I've had those things
I tried
break
to
down
buy
on
it,
me.
it's
They're not
Chinese.
good.
Rocker ratios, heavies, different ones, intake and exhaust with any finish. Yes, there's been hundreds of people do that. Maybe not thousands.
It's the most common, tens of thousands. It's one of the most common, modifications, valve train modifications there are is putting a different ratio rocker on.
Chevrolet small block, they almost came with a set of rockers, so you could do it immediately.
Like he's jumping around like that.
How much meat is safe to leave if I offset bore the small end? Wayne, that's a good question, man. I don't know, because every ride is gonna be a little bit different. So like what would work, let's say on a big block Mopar rod, there's gonna be a different thing than a small block Chevy rod. I can tell you how much meat is gonna be saved. I would want a good amount, I would want a good amount of it. I have seen rods, and I don't remember which manufacturer they were. But I do recall seeing some factory connector rods that had a huge amount of meat up above the tin. And it was obvious that they were using that same rod in
Oh,
multiple
they're just
applications.
re-drilling in.
Yeah. I can't for the life of me remember which manufacturer that was.
Was it recently?
No, it might have been, oh God.
It wouldn't have been somebody that was high end, like Oliver or nothing like that.
No, I'm talking about regular OEM.
Oh, OEM.
OEM. And I'm wanting to say it was a GM engine. I don't, it may come to me. Tony, does anyone make aftermarket heads for Slash 6? No, and somebody should, because there's a real demand for that out there. Zero saying John Wilburn aren't the coils on VW's motors. Yes, that's a Volkswagen coil. It's designed to be mounted that way.
I didn't know when it said that. For the Bosch coils?
Yes. But that's a VW specific coil.
Right. Replace valve guides or buy oversized valve. If you get oversized valves available, buy them suckers. It's a lot cheaper to do that than guides
Then
them.
put guides in it. You're investing a lot of money. You can before you drop off on the machine shop and say, yeah, man, put some guides in it. They can knurl the guides. They knurl them.
They actually make the tool.
Yeah.
The knurl.
Right.
And you can do them. That's the way I was actually taught to do them, was knurl them. But I mean, now with bronze guides and all that stuff, I mean, that's really kind of the way to go. If you're going to guide them, might as well put bronze guides in them.
The Drive 55. What do you think of Chrysler dropping the SRT line? I was more upset when they closed our local Rupees Tuesdays because they had a killer salad bar there. That's about how I feel about that SRT stuff.
It's like, what is it, Solaris?
Who the hell knows?
I don't know, and I think that's what they changed the name to, something like that for Chrysler. Like, God, what are you guys thinking?
Tuja's Garage. What's going on, brother man? He's got a good little smile. We've been on for an hour, right? Let's plug stuff again.
Oh, plug some stuff?
Let's plug
Hey,
some stuff.
We're gonna plug the Slanted Nationals.
The slanted names.
Yes. Love the slanted
Jefferson,
nationals.
Sykeston, Missouri, Jeffers Motorsports Park. We got 4 classes really. You're looking at slanted daily drivers, and it's gotta have street tires and exhaust. And then, class 2 is your hot rod slants that are naturally aspirated.
That's what we'll be running in. Plan Z will be running in that class.
And then hot rod slant power adder. That'd be class number
Yeah.
3. And then class 4, we're calling it the Super 6. It's heads up. Now, if you got a fast slant, jump into that thing, we're gonna take the top 6, and it's gonna be a heads-up.
Love me
shootout.
some slams.
That's the man's class. I'll be in the little boys.
It could be the ladies' class too, I don't know, but you're gonna have a slant 6 in there, that's for damn sure. So,
And then, of course, the AHRA goes, AHRA what?
AHRA online.
IHRA online.
I joined that a couple months ago.
AHRA online.
.com, and then we have an eBay store too. And I probably need to put a link on our AHRA page.
And tomorrow night, we're gonna be on, Uncle Kathy and I are gonna be on the Slate Six, an old car guy channel. It's an old car guy. And Slate Six, God, go to my community thing, and there's a link to the show that we're gonna be on tomorrow night.
Yeah, there's a live stream gonna be on tomorrow night. I think it's a podcast.
All right, let's talk more of this stuff.
All right. So, anybody want to say anything else about cylinder heads? Or are we done with this?
Yeah, it's gonna keep it going. People will jump in there. Douglas Schreiber says this is a great show.
I think so.
I think this is a great show.
Yeah, but you're looking at the. I'm kind of biased. I'm a bit biased. All right.
Oh, crap.
How often, Wayne Ferguson, how often have you received valve seats and the main reason why?
Oh,
It's rare on Chryslers.
it's rare on Buick.
Yeah, it's very common on Fords, very common on Chevys. And I can't really speak for Pullman. And it really just has to do with the manufacturing, like the metallurgy of the head, the characteristics of the valve material that they use. There's a lot of different factors, but generally speaking, on Mopar engines, very, very rare. Rare. And Buicks, no.
Pretty rare.
Yeah.
I had some high milers, and the guides are usually trashed, but the seats are fun.
Jeeps and Freedom, considering coming to this race, if I could find a good cheap slant car to build over the summer. Once my J10 is done, I need to wrench on something other than a Jeep for a bit. Well, the race will be before, what's the date on that? Come by my place, I got a car you can build if you want.
Cubic inches of a nail head. There's quite a few of them actually. There's 322,
Yeah.
364, 401, 425. Those are the ones that you. I said 364. Right. Yeah. And then there was another smaller one. It was like 290.
What 4-speed is behind the Slant 6? All of them. The Slant 6.
Can you put an 833 behind it?
Yeah, the factory,
That's cool.
1964. 1964 through 66. They had the 833 was standard option behind the Slant 6.
That would be killer because you can get one in overdrive. 833s
Well-
behind a slant 6.
Well, the hot ticket when, years ago, I don't know if it's still doing it now, but years ago was to go find a Slant 6 4-speed because they had a 309 first gear.
Oh, real.
Yeah, real low first gear. But yeah, the 833 bolts right up behind it.
No, the 300 was not a nailhead. The 300 is actually the same kind of engine as a 350. It's based off that 215. So the 215, 300, 340, and 350 Buick are all the same small block Buick engine. So and we're
Great
gonna
engine.
do some kind of story.
300 was an aluminum block, I think.
340 might eventually find one or whatever.
Mopar Man 1978. I was told you can use Chevy valves in a Mopar heads to save money since the word Mopar jacks prices up. I just bought 8 exhaust valves for 360 and for Rock Auto, and it was $27 for all 8 all 8 valves,
Yeah, that shit's cheap.
and then like another $8 for shipping. So no, these valves are very cheap for Mopar. Finding a bell housing for a Slant 6 833 would be hard, I think. All 1970 and newer Slant 6 bell housings. No, I'm wrong. Wait. All 1974 and newer Slant 6 bell housings have the 843 pattern also in them. So even if it came with a 3-speed, it still, it has the bolt pattern in it for the 833.
Hey, check this out. Any recommendations on piston head combo to get some compression out of a 400 Chrysler? That's one of my favorite motors. That's
The 400 is a great motor.
yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I mean, you get a set of 516s, you know, and a closed chamber head, you know, with a 67 440. Any closed chamber head will automatically get you up into like the 9 plus range, like 9.2, 8.3 to 1 range.
So that's like the Performance 3 head.
No, it was actually the regular 383 head. The 516, there's the small valve. It's got a 1.6 and 1.74.
Rocker ratio.
I mean, you can open up the valves. That's not a problem. There's plenty of
Right.
But yeah, 516s, you can get them almost. Go to any like Walmart, like swap meet or anything like that, and you can pick up a set of those for like $100. Muscle City Madness. Tony, I'm planning on building my first engine, so your new series is gold to a guy like me. Thanks, brother. That's why we're doing it. This is why we do this stuff, man. We're also, Vice Grip Garage, Derek is also doing an engine build. And so you definitely want to check out what he's got to say too. Our 906
Play
head's
some
still
poker
working
while I'm
anyway.
freaking listening to this.
Really, I mean,
Since nobody's
there's
watching.
a lot of them out there. Dallas, is there a difference between a 3800 Pontiac and a Buick of the same size pre-1990?
No. It's the same engine. That Buick engine, that's the 3800, that's the Series 2 that you're talking about, from 88 on up. And they're all the same engine. Matter of fact, that became General Motors corporate V6 for a couple of years.
Was an e-motor design carried over to many makes into the 1990s. We are doing that video.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta pull the motor out of the 60.
yeah,
And then we're gonna put it on the stand, fire it up.
the weather is beautiful, man. You should have been out there today. Pull
Yeah.
the motor out.
Yeah. I was on day 2 of nice weather. Oh, I had to get gutters on my house. All my gutters filled up with ice and fell off the south side of the house.
The general stress, UTJ is an entertaining and knowledgeable soul. You both get all my respect for sharing that knowledge. 6 kids don't bother me anymore.
Put your wife
After you clean the heads. Tony, have you used the mechanical 6-pack setup before from Direct Connection? The mechanical 6-pack setup is the Ford carburetor. We did that video of it. Did you see that video we did? We toured the National Parts and Supply.
Oh, in Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that video?
Uh-huh.
So one of the cars that they have there is a Ford with the.
I'm playing poker and listening to Uncle Tony's now.
6 gallons.
And those mechanical carburetors on that are the exact.
Blackjack, rather, sorry.
The mechanical 6-pack carburetor setup from Direct Connection. What you got was exactly those Ford carburetors with the progressive linkage.
No. Any advice for converting an early CFI system to a carburetor? It's on an 83 Crown Vic, so I know it's not your preferred make, but I'm struggling to find much info about something like this. Well, the CFI was only offered for like 2 years.
Hey, get rid of
Looks like
shit.
throttle body.
Yeah.
Yeah. What guys used to do is take
Central fuel
the whole
injection.
intake manifold, throttle body, the whole thing off, hold a regular intake on it for a carburetor, put a carburetor on it, and then you're gonna have to get rid of the computer. So the easiest way to do it on a Ford, in my opinion, they make an HEI distributor
Yeah,
for Ford.
that's the easiest way to do it.
And you just find one hot wire when the key's on, that's it. So,
See, Wayne Ferguson, I have 318 heads with some bad seat recession. Engine guy put it down to a few bad old valve springs and said constant valve bounce. Does that sound reasonable? About 40 pounds pressure on those. Constant valve bounce? I've never heard of that.
it'd be like hammering valve because it'd be constant flow, but it would hardly even run.
Yeah, you just probably had a head with bad metal in it. You know what I mean? And not the best batch. Remember, not all heads are creative people. They're going to pour sort of filling for you, okay? There's going to pour
That's a
line
hit.
up, right? And they've got their
13 on the 10. I think that's a
And
hit.
then they start pouring into the fucking mold. Well, the metal in the vat isn't always consistent. And the ones that get, you know what I'm saying? So,
Can't quite stick your finger in there and stir her up.
right. So like, let's say all of the good minerals and good mojo is all up fucking, it's all at the top, and all of the crap is at the bottom.
Which is like normal.
Yeah. So as it's pouring, you know what I'm saying? It's not every set of heads in that run is gonna get the same quality of fucking metal. So when you come across a head that's got like badly recessed valves or porosity or anything like that, it's just really because it just wasn't in the happy part of the pour. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. He said it's hard to keep up with the chat. I know. I kind of dread the chat every show. Because I can't keep my eyes on it.
It's hard. It's hard. I've been doing this for so long now, and it's like it's become a second nature. I had one.
Did you really?
Yeah. I had one.
I've never. My dad bought the most awesome Valari wagon like in '78 or something. Right? It was white and white interior.
Mine was white with powder blue interior.
Oh, really?
So it was slant six with 4-speed.
Ours was a 318, but it just had automatic. It's a nice car.
10-10. That's a hit.
Would you ever recommend regrinding
13-10, I think that's a
valve
hit.
stems when replacement valves are hard to source? Any valve stems show some into, yes, I've done that. I've done that to gain geometrical, advantage. With push rod length becomes an issue, and yeah, I've ground the tips on. Don't worry about it. You could don't go nuts. Don't cut half an inch off.
$200,000.
Right. But if you need to dress it down a little bit, just don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Tony, what rear end did that 426 Hemi have in it? It's an automatic 3/4.
Oh, really? I thought they all came with Danes. Only stick shift cars?
Only 4-speed cars.
Really?
Well, later on, if you ordered like the super drag pack, with the automatic, you would get the Dana 60.
Oh, all right.
But
10 on
standard,
the 8.
all Hemi automatic.
That's a
cars
double
are
down.
Standard with an 8/3/4.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
It was a push.
What about the like 440 cars? Did
Motherfucker.
they ever get?
Same thing. All the
Same
440 automatic cars had automatics, 444 speeds had Dana 60s.
Oh, all right.
Mm.
Custom fastback Cougar Kiwi was working on.
I have to get a hold of Kiwi. I haven't talked to Kiwi in too long. I got to get a hold of him.
This guy asked about non-resistor plugs made to Hemi.
I use Autolites, man. I'm an Autolite freak. Yeah, I don't know where the hell they made. I'm still having good luck with them.
Oh, really? I
I
cracked one so easy.
really.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? And I looked.
Hit
So,
$2,000.
Went back to the box, and it was a whole different logo design, the whole 9 yards.
Well, actually, come to think of it, I did crack one recently, side gap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I cut like the electrode, and there was side gap on the thing, and I thought it went in a little too easy, you know what I mean? Because usually you got to wiggle a little bit. And when I turned the plug over, the ceramic
All
off.
right, I'm up in the bet.
That's
We're going to hunt it.
So, yeah.
I cracked, and I
Oh,
looked at the box,
that's a
and
good hit.
I'm like, wow, this one looks completely different. It's got a new logo and everything, but it's made in China. Oh, crap. Getting everybody. One port heads on a 2.8 V6. Should I recondition the original heads and get new seals, maybe guides? Man, if you're gonna go for guides, if you gotta do guides on that, throw that
10 on 9 is
Yeah,
double
go get a set of-
down.
Yeah, go get a set of reconditioned parts stuff.
No, 10 on 9's a hit.
If you got to change guides, seals are no big deal. I mean, seals will just slip over
You're
the.
gonna have a lot of money on these guides.
But yeah, if it needs guides, yeah, just get yourself a set of reconditioned heads.
I recently cracked 2 auto lights. I thought it was just me.
No, yeah, I did it. I did it.
I mean, I had some older ones that were made in America, but then when I got these new ones, it was like, that sucker cracked.
Nobody room.
Hit retort. You first loosen every bolt and then torque them all, or do you loosen?
Nobody in the room and I'm killing it.
No, sir, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I've never retorqued one. I know you're supposed to, I know, what's it, you have to retorque it, you have to retorque them. So I couldn't give you, and I'm not saying, oh, don't retorque your head, that's a dumb thing to do. What I'm saying is, I personally have never done it. I encourage you to retorque yours, but I have no idea, what the procedure would be for that.
Something I would say, is 225 bucket.
That would be cool.
Well, you remember, I was asking you
The
about the
Buick.
215.
Yeah.
Ten
that
cans
would
is
be awesome.
it.
I wanna see a 215. Come on.
Not yours.
Yeah, I
I
want a
still think it would
four-cylinder.
be kick-ass in like a T-bucket, and then get like an S10 5-speed behind it.
Yeah, but think about it, right? It's gonna cost you fucking 15 grand to build a T-bucket by the time you're done with all of the suspension bits and so on and so forth. You can go buy a Miata with a crashed motor for like
Well,
300 bucks.
I think the original, if that's the original plan, we go back to the original one, where it was 215 and an S10 pick. That would be badass.
225 with zoomies, Danny would make no torque whatsoever. It has no torque.